and 35 of the Lunchroom, and I'm your host, Calix George Jr. Now, in addition to radio at 101.1 FM, you can get us at our website. It's rcistlucia.com. That's our website URL. And you can download our previous shows on that platform. And if you also want to, you can follow us on Facebook. It's live streaming, and that is on the official page of Radio Caribbean International. And of course, be sure to like and share that link as well with your friends and family. You can always go back and watch the old shows on our Facebook platform as well. Now, a bit of history for today. In the year 1597, a group of early Japanese Christians, known as the 26 Martyrs, are killed by the new government of Japan for being seen as a threat to Japanese society. In the year 1885, King Leopold II of Belgium established the Congo as a personal colonial possession. And of course, we know the horrors of that story. In the year 1885 as well, news of the fall of Khartoum reaches London. 1945, on this day, United States troops under General Douglas MacArthur enter Manila in the Philippines after a month-long battle, ending 3 years of Japanese military occupation during World War II. And in 1969, on this day, United States population reaches 200 million. Today it's about 340 or so million. Now, as well, a few birthday greetings going out to Miss Nina Shalmine. Happy birthday to you, Nina, and we wish you an absolutely wonderful and fantastic birthday celebration. Also sending some birthday greetings out to Mr. Dwayne Kodra. Happy birthday to you as well, sir. Hope you're having a wonderful birthday celebration. And also to Miss Melissa Bernard. Happy birthday. Hope you're having a fantastic birthday as well. We now move on to our dish of the day. The daily dish is brought to you the kind compliments of our good friends at Tiles Plus.
One tiles for your home, I see. Bathroom, kitchen, pantry. Need tiles for your balcony. Come down to Tiles Plus, satisfaction guarantee. Tiles Plus, Tiles Plus, Tiles Plus. Big tiles with unbeatable cost. Customer service, A+. With all kind of tiles, come down to Tiles Plus. We also black gas and vanity. Books, doors, you'll see. Come down to mind nobody. We got the best tiles on island. Trust me. We are located Land Street in Castries, Bosses Jugozi Lanes, and Slack Street in Beaufort. Telephone number 453-7939. Tiles Plus.
Serving now, the Daily Dish.
And welcome back to the Lunchroom here at Radio Caribbean International. Now, of course, if you were just simply in your own zone over the weekend, you probably would have had a very lovely weekend. That is because there was lots of beautiful weather, bright sunshine, nice clear blue skies, a great opportunity to head out and to go on some sort of an adventure around the island, maybe enjoy the beach, enjoy all that the island has to offer. If you were probably visiting the island as well and staying at a resort, you probably would have been in that same sort of mode, pretty much just enjoying yourself and enjoying the beauty that is a tropical island in winter. But unfortunately, that was not the sum total of all the happenings over the weekend here in St. Lucia. And unfortunately, it was a very bloody and mournful weekend, witnessing effectively the loss of 3 lives as a result of killings, as a result of human beings deciding to pick up guns and to kill other human beings. That is effectively what we have to be faced with, and that's what we were facing over the weekend. And so when you go on some of these news broadcast platforms and you look at them, it's very unfortunate because everything really seems to be about some criminal-related story. at this point in time. And of course, we've seen one homicide in the case of a gentleman was shot in the Maynard Hill area, and that happened the beginning of the weekend as well. There was another homicide that very same night. Later on that night, I believe, where we saw an individual being shot in the very early hours of the morning, by all indications, and that happened just around on the Morn Road, just near the government house. And that certainly is something of no comfort to anybody when even just in the vicinity of the head of state, we are seeing those kinds of very, very unfortunate acts of violence being committed. In this instance, the sister of the deceased, Mr. Barry Augustine, was the individual who, in fact, was a victim, that victim found by the officers at Government House on their regular patrols of the vicinity of the area. He was merely 36 years old and a resident of Latok Castries. And it appears, according to her sister, that this is, well, according to what the gentleman himself told his mother, that his life was under threat, and his life was under threat, according to him, because somebody owed him money, and so therefore, or some sort of debt, and so this individual had threatened to take his life, and unfortunately, we are now seeing that his life, in fact, has been taken. We don't know by whom as of yet, and we do, of course, hope that we can see justice in this matter with respect to Mr. Barry Augustine. As I said, unfortunately, if that was not enough, yesterday evening, again, in the community of Vieux-Fort, at about 9:10 last night, another shooting, the Vieux-Fort police having to respond to a shooting which occurred at the corner of Clark Street and Martin Luther King Street in the town of Vieux-Fort. And according to St. Lucia Times, at the scene, investigators encountered a male who had suffered several injuries due to a shooting. The victim, identified as a 29-year-old resident of Vieux-Fort, was taken away from the location while investigations continued. And of course, again, the appeal to the police that anybody has any information regarding this matter is asked to contact the Vieux-Fort police station. The numbers you can use, 285-7258, again 285-7258, as well as the Criminal Investigations Department at the Vieux-Fort Police Station, the Southern Divisional Headquarters, 456-3770, 456-3770. And of course, the other options like the crime hotline, dialing in 2555. It is, of course, very unfortunate as we are continuing to see a scaling up, really, an escalated situation in terms of homicides in the island of St. Lucia. We are we're on the 5th day of February. What about the 36th day in the year 2024, and already 11 homicides to date. 11 homicides to date. So definitely, it is calling for some clear intervention, because in some of these instances we have to be wondering, are there that many people in St. Lucia who are taking people's lives? I mean, that is also a very chilling thought, that we certainly, I mean, with those numbers, the degrees of separation, you could be walking somewhere, you could be walking next to criminals. You could be walking next to individuals who have taken the lives of individuals, and they're walking around freely. And that is certainly something that we cannot be comforted by in a society. And that is certainly something that we all need to be thinking about in terms of this approach towards crime and violence. And of course, we've seen it. It's happening all over the island. There is clearly no one place or the other that can say that, look, we're not seeing any sort of criminal activity. It is everybody's business, regardless of geography, and I think regardless of socioeconomic status. We're seeing the issues of crime being very, very prevalent all around the island. So we've got to do surely a lot more in terms of trying to bring this matter under control. And of course, it means an all-in approach. It means that we've got to see that everybody has to be playing their part. But of course, very much in particular, the role of the Royal St. Lucia Police Force is very important, and the role of community, the role of networks, social networks, of churches, because usually somebody has seen something, usually. And in fact, quite often we find that, or usually somebody's told something. And sometimes you may not be necessarily a direct witness to the crime, but you may find that you have later on found yourself in the midst of the individuals who committed the crime sometimes, or somebody who knows about some sort of situation. So it's very important that individuals come forward and provide whatever information they have, whatever leads they have to the police in dealing with these matters. It's very, very, very critical to be able to do just that. That is our dish of the day. When we come back, we'll be taking in some calls.
This has been The Daily Dish.
One tiles for your home, I see. Bathroom, kitchen, pantry. Need tiles for your balcony. Come down to Tiles Plus, satisfaction guarantee. Tiles Plus, Tiles Plus, Tiles Plus. Big tiles with unbeatable cost. Customer service, A+. There's all kind of tiles. Come down to Tiles Plus. We also glass, glassware, and vanity. Box, doors, you'll see. Come down to mind nobody. We got the best tiles on island. Trust me. We are located Land Street in Castries, Bosses, Grozile, and Slack Street in Beaufort. Telephone number 453-7939. Tiles Plus.
And welcome back to the lunchroom here at Radio Caribbean International. And we do hope that you're having a wonderful day. Of course, over the weekend as well, there was that effort relay, the Relay for Life, that event being put on by the St. Lucia Cancer Society on the VG SAB playing field. Hope it was a success. Now, of course, as we were looking at the issue of health and already having to deal with the issues of non-communicable diseases, of cancer, it is also having a major impact. The issue of human beings and their effectively taking the lives of other people, and of course their recklessness as well in traveling on the roads. That is certainly having an impact as well. And that is there's a plea, in fact, being made from the St. Lucia Medical and Dental Association. They, in fact, are pointing out that the uptick in gun violence and road accidents is having a wide-ranging impact. That story being shared by the St. Lucia Loop. Just to share it very quickly, the St. Lucia Medical and Dental Association, SLMDA, is expressing deep concern as the island nation grapples with a dual crisis involving a surge in crime rates and an increase in road fatalities, posing significant threats to public health. Dr. Delphina Werner, Public Relations Officer at the SLMDA, points out that the severe implications these challenges hold for the safety and overall well-being of the nation. The escalation of crime, she says, is not only jeopardizing the safety of citizens, but is also placing an unprecedented strain on St. Lucia's medical sector. Since the beginning of the year, the island has recorded 10 homicides. Well, that was written, of course, just a little before this, the 11th one perhaps, accompanied by 3, so it's now 11 homicides, and accompanied by 3 road fatalities, road collisions, and incidents of assaults and physical violence. Dr. Werner emphasizes that the impact of rising crime extends beyond immediate safety concerns, with emergency rooms and healthcare facilities grappling with an influx of trauma cases. This surge has triggered numerous ripple effects, including increased patient volume, heightened demand for blood bank resources, a rise in emergency surgical procedures, and an urgent need for ICU beds. These challenges result in extended wait times for other patients seeking emergency services, significant strain on hospital infrastructure, both physical and human resources, and increased demand for EMT and ambulance services. Healthcare facilities are compelled to allocate additional resources, including increased staffing in emergency departments and heightened medical supplies to address the mounting influx of trauma cases. Dr. Werner underscores the critical timing of these challenges given the ongoing global public health issues, emphasizing the need to address the root causes of the crime surge to alleviate strain on the medical sector. Additionally, the SLMDA highlights the significant mental health impact of the situation. The fear of crime and victimization contribute to mental health issues such as anxiety, depression, the post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD. Communities with high crime rates may experience heightened levels of stress and reduced overall mental well-being. The constant exposure of healthcare workers to traumatic cases and the responsibility of conveying distressing news to families, coupled with occasional threats, pose a serious threat to their mental health. Dr. Werner warns of the risk of chronic stress linked to the development of non-communicable diseases like cardiovascular issues, hypertension, cancer, and immune system suppression. This highlights the broader impact of the constant crime threat on overall physical health, exacerbating existing health challenges. There is a looming risk that public health resources may be redirected to address immediate crime consequences, diverting attention and funds away from preventative measures, community health initiatives, and addressing underlying social determinants of health. The SLMDA strongly urges the government and stakeholders to unite in implementing a holistic approach to address crime. This involves combining law enforcement efforts with community outreach programs and social initiatives. The SLMDA stands ready to assist in these efforts, emphasizing the resilience of the people of St. Lucia and the necessity to come together to safeguard community well-being. And that article that press statement coming from the St. Lucia Medical and Dental Association. And I should certainly want to thank them for this statement. I think it's a very timely and very much on point statement that in fact has been shared by the St. Lucia Medical and Dental Association, because it really underscores the interconnected nature of what we are facing. And sometimes maybe it is a response to dealing with the trauma, maybe it is in fact a response to dealing with the fear, but sometimes we do close our eyes, we do block our ears, and we continue on our lives thinking that these acts are not going to impact us because they're not happening in our community. They're not happening amongst our immediate circle of friends and family. And so it's really out of our zone, and so we don't really think about it. And then this is showing that, guess what? It may not be that you are a direct victim of the crime, or even know the individual who may have actually been the victim of the crime. But then the broader impact, because this individual who may have been shot is going to be seeking out medical assistance, is going to be going into the hospital, is going to, in fact, be impacting the EMTs, impacting the doctors and nurses and the medical staff and other individuals working in a health facility, and it's going to be creating for themselves directly, of course, that impact of taking away potentially time that and bed space and resources that could potentially be used for you or your sister or your grandmother or some member of your family who is seeking medical attention. And guess what? Maybe they can't get a bed as a result of that. Maybe they can't get and in particular, if it's an ICU or they need life support, it's potentially that they may not be able to get that space because it's being taken up because this case of violence is seen as maybe more critical in this situation. So it is certainly putting the medical facilities and systems in place under significant stress. And of course, it's putting directly the doctors and nurses under a significant amount of stress as well. So if their workload is increasing, if they're seeing horrendous things that perhaps none of us want to be able to actually witness, and having to deal with more surgeries and dealing with a lot more of these situations, they are being put under stress as well. And guess what? We're dealing with human beings. In as much as they are professional, in as much as they're trying to maintain their composure, sometimes human beings may very well get to breaking point. And you see the fissures, you see the cracks in emotions, or maybe their tempers, or their patience in dealing with matters. So that can be impacted. And so, of course, we see, and especially given our society, we can be very much in these emotional moments where we're seeking out medical attention. We may be thinking, no, this nurse is being way too rude to me, or this nurse is not going to give me the kind of attention that I need. I need an immediate answer. And we don't know what that nurse has perhaps been dealing with for the past 12 hours, or what that doctor has been dealing with, and how long they've been on call for. So it is certainly a major issue, and we can see the ripple effects that are coming forward as a result of this issue of a surge in crime, and dealing with violent crime in particular, dealing with crime that involves human beings, human bodies, human minds, it takes it to a whole other level. It's bad enough when we are dealing with a house break-in, a home break-in. You can think of how violated you feel when somebody has stolen something from you, something that belongs to you, and you no longer have it in your possession, and you're thinking, how could somebody have come into my space, and how uncomfortable you may be in thinking about this somebody walking into your home and taking something away from you, and that's bad enough in itself. You probably may not be able to sleep properly for weeks because of this act. And then you now think about, well, what now when you look at these really violent acts which are happening in people's homes. And you've seen some of the images on social media of individual and on the regular news of individuals sharing the bullet holes in their in their walls, and even in their kitchen sink, and and showing what the impact of how close they may have been to themselves potentially getting injured or losing their lives. And so it is a major impact in terms of the psychology of the country, the psychology of individuals, and it's something that we have to take very, very seriously. And it can have not just an impact in terms of how people see the criminal activity, but in fact, what you end up with sometimes is, as we mentioned, withdrawal. People begin to isolate themselves. Their behavior changes. They want to, as soon as something is, they're done with work, or they've gone out and they're straight back in, and they change their behaviors. And what that does means that they don't go out as much, or they don't interact as much. And we get into a mold now where that very same antisocial behavior, which is leading to violent crime, which is leading to anger, which is leading to all sorts of things, revenge killings, which is leading to violence, is also having a sort of another impact by drawing people away from that social space of interaction and community. So they want to not be very much in the community. They become more reclusive. And of course, it has an economic impact as well. And we've seen that in the case of V4 directly, where we saw, in fact, businesses having to close. But it can also have an economic impact because people simply don't want to go out and spend as much time outside in social settings. So it will certainly and potentially have an impact on how people spend their money as well. So it certainly is something that is multifaceted and requires a multifaceted response if we are to get it right. So thanks to the St. Lucia Medical and Dental Association for those insights and for, in fact, raising this within this current context that it needs everybody to be responding in this current situation if we are to hopefully get a long-term solution to dealing with what we are faced with today. In some instances, we speak quite a lot about war, and we're seeing what is going on over in places like Gaza and or the Ukraine, and that's what's happening right now. But then we've already forgotten about the wars that may have occurred in Afghanistan or the ongoing conflicts in other parts of the world. It's sometimes very hard for countries to properly recover from that kind of devastation and that kind of psychological impact that it's had. Yes, the war itself may be done. You may not necessarily be seeing the large scale in terms of immediate loss of life and injuries, but then it's the lingering impacts that you actually have in these situations. We're speaking about 11 homicides right now. We don't even know, we don't really get the details as to, well, how many people are actually injured right now? How many people are going to have long-term injuries as a result of this type of activity? How many children are now going to be orphaned as a result of this type of violence, this level of violence? How many families are losing breadwinners and so therefore are being put into poverty as a result of what we're seeing right now? And so, yes, quite often you may be done with the war, but the impacts of it linger on for many, 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 many years. And so it's the same when you're dealing with violent crime. It's having a very similar impact, and it has sometimes a very long-term impact in the case of society. It's exactly why many of these countries like the United States of America. They have a whole Department of Veterans Affairs. They've got to have a whole network of hospitals to be able to provide, and health systems to be able to provide support for individuals who've gone through the trauma of violence experience in war. Now, thankfully, we're not to that point, when we're dealing with to that extent of it. But it is somewhat the same, that you're going to find that there is going to be that residual impact, that residual effect of violence in society. And so it really calls for a multidisciplinary approach, especially the psychosocial aspects of it, which have unfortunately quite often been forgotten. The fact that, this person has gone through grief, they've buried the individual, and that's it. We just got to move on. No. And in fact, what we're also seeing is, in fact, clearly showing that that's not how it's ever going to be solved, because you're seeing lots of conflicts that are never really properly settled, lots of, effectively, as we could use the term it's quite often used right now, lots of toxicity that is never really taken out. And so it just continues to propagate and propel itself in this reprisal situation. So we as a country have our hands cut out for us. Our work is certainly cut out for us in terms of how we as a country, as a people, respond to this current situation of violence in our society. So at this time, we're going to take in our weather report.
Island style, yeah. We got the time to make you go. We got the time to make you say, yeah. We'll have to make the right choice. Island style, whoa. We got the time that will make you happy. Island style, oh yeah. We make your dream come alive in Island style.
We have tiles and thin sets, pieces and ground. Everything you need is on the house out. For the best price and the latest style, take a little drive down to Island Style Car.
We got the time to make you go. We got the time to make you say, quality rice, service choice. It's all an Island Style.
Visit us at our showrooms in Bellarosa, Rodney Bay, on the John Compton Highway, Cass Street, and behind Ruby's Gas Station on the Library Viewfort Highway. Or call us on 450-452 or 453-TILE. Island Style, Tile and Bath. When you think tile, think Island Style.
This is Radio Caribbean International. It's now time for the weather news.
And that's of course on the 1.1. It's now time for your weather report as of Tomlin today, presented by Island Style Talamba. The forecast for St. Lucia valid for the next 24 hours. The winds will be blowing from between the east, southeast, and southeast near 40 miles per hour or 22 kilometers per hour. The weather fair and hazy skies occasionally becoming cloudy with a chance of brief showers. And there is an advisory in areas that persons with respiratory ailments and dust allergies are advised to take the necessary precaution. Also, an advisory here: small craft operators and sea beavers are advised to exercise caution due to above normal seas and reduced visibility. The forecast for the Lesser Antilles: fair to partly cloudy and hazy with a few brief isolated showers. And the weather summary: the Atlantic high pressure system will continue to generate light to moderate southeasterly winds across the Eastern Caribbean region during the next 24 hours. A relatively dry and stable lower atmosphere will persist over the Eastern Caribbean region during the next 24 hours. Saharan dust haze will continue to cause a reduction in visibility and air quality across the region during the forecast period. And this was your weather report as of 12 noon today, presented by Island Style Talamba.
This has been RCI's Weather News. For more information, call the Weather Hotline at 454-3452. RCI 101 number 1.
Island Style, yeah. We got the time to make you go. We got the time to make you say, yeah.
sets, pieces and ground. Everything you need to sort the house out. For the best price and the latest style. Take a little drive down to Island Style Car.
We got the time to make you go. We got the time to make you say, quality, price, service, choice. It's all an Island Style.
Visit us at our showrooms in Bellarosa, Rodney Bay, on the John Compton Highway, Castries, and behind Ruby's Gas Station on the Library Viewfort Highway. Or call us on 450-452 or 453-TILE. Island Style Tile and Bath. When you think tile, think Island Style.
And welcome back to the lunchroom here at Radio Caribbean International. And the number to call in, so that's what's on your plate today. It is 452-3046. Again, 452-3046. And we're going to head to the phone lines at this time. Good afternoon and welcome to the lunchroom. What's on your plate today? Hello, good afternoon.
Hello?
Hi, good afternoon, caller.
Hello, hello?
You're on air. We're hearing you very clearly.
Okay, I'm not hearing you too clearly.
I'm not sure what that issue might be. Are you hearing us now?
Okay, just hold a while for me, eh?
All right, we're just going to hold on just a short while with this caller. And might be because of radio
Yes, all
or
right.
interference. Are you there?
Yeah, I hear you. I'm hearing you now.
Okay, wonderful.
How are you doing?
Very good, thank you. And how was your weekend?
All right, your weekend, all right, thanks.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Calix boy, how close or have we reached the point of no turning back?
No turning back from what?
With regards to the escalation, man,
Oh,
of this leveling off and even reversing the trend.
that's a very good question. I don't know. I'm not a criminologist. I have not studied it sufficiently to know exactly how it ever changes. But
certainly, but certainly we could learn lessons from our big brothers in Jamaica, Trinidad, no?
That's an interesting question because they have been in a sort of a state where we could perhaps learn what they have done and attempted and see the actual true impacts of how that has gone through.
What
because
they have done and it absolutely hasn't worked.
Hasn't really worked. Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
So anyway,
So that is important. Yes, we can always learn.
Well, that's the point I'm making here, because these people let these things fester. Especially, I could speak to the Jamaica experience because I lived in Jamaica for a length of time. These things were festering so badly. And all along, people were calling for a truce between the leaders to show some leadership in this regard, And it was not being done because everything was about either securing the victory or protecting the victory. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what the politics was about, and my way or the highway. Till it reaches a stage now, they find, well, it's so critical and inimical to the development of the country now. They decide to meet and try and have some form of truce to show some leadership at least. To encourage people, their followers, and the rest of the civil society that, look, our leaders now, we're coming together. We're toning down the rhetoric against each other, trying to reduce on the politicizing of crime and everything, and let us deal with this issue. But you know what? It appeared that what took place, it was too late, because I don't know if you remember, you must be old enough to remember that peace concert, no? It reached Bob Marley, and as a result of that, not on the same occasion, but after that, he nearly lost his life for that. He was shot because of that, participating in that thing there. You understand? Because what was happening there is that while they were talking peace, they were planning war in their hearts. They were preparing for more war. And he was, he came down for that. Where he was living in Miami, he came down for that, and he tried to contribute because the kind of figure he was, globally and things, the peace, emphasis of the Rastafari tradition, and he performed and he nearly lost his life for that, and it even became worse. It developed, it took off from then. That is after Edward Siaga and Michael Manley met on a stage and hugged each other, shook hands and so on. But on the ground, the seeds of hate and anger and acrimony had been sown and had taken root already. So I'm saying now, people calling now, you would find it's a normal thing. If perhaps we haven't reached that level of political tribal war, so to speak, political tribal war, will something like that work if our leaders, because it's not the parties that at fault,
But what is interesting, caller, you what you're relating, like that event, right, is nearly 50 years ago, eh? Well, 46 years. It was in 1978.
Okay, well,
and look at how things have. I can't even think that we can say it has gotten better.
When Bob Marley sang on stage,
it appears so.
Not 58. Nah, can't be
40. No. I said it happened in 1978.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So
okay,
it's nearly 50 years. I mean, 46 years ago. So.
Okay, so you were not alive yet.
No, I wasn't around.
Yeah,
and the point I'm making as well is that it's look at the amount of time, nearly half a century, and we can't say that it hasn't gotten any better.
That's my brother. That's why I feel I cannot. I have to call up sometimes and share my life experience, because I've been there. I've seen many moons, and I could talk. I think I have a bigger thing to speak about, a wider,
Right,
to
indeed.
speak on these issues, because I witnessed this thing firsthand in Jamaica, and it didn't work. So have we gone? That's the root of the question, and I'm asking: have we gone past that stage where even this could work, bringing the leaders together? And trying to chop low the rhetoric, the politicizing of every and any and everything, and the fragmenting, the dividing, the divisive, nature of the kind of thing, and the kind of hate for hate kind of thing we're building, in this country. It cannot be good, because they themselves don't go at each other physically. But the fact that they have people who will believe that only the fortunes of the party could help deliver them from whatever situation. In terms of the social standings. When people start believing that, Calix, that is it's necessary, that they're in control for them to have any chance. That's when it comes to that level, because at that time people don't have to issue any directives to anybody, members of the party, to do anything. They will do it because that is how they're in that mindset already. So the other party becomes the enemy. Members of the other party become the enemy.
And it goes out of control. That's exactly as you're saying.
But that's what I'm
and in
saying.
fact, some people have suggested that this is part of the challenge with the current violence that we're seeing right now.
Yeah.
That you've got gangs, and these gangs have splintered, and the individuals who thought that were in control of these gangs are not even in control of them anymore.
No. These people lost control. They're gone. it's like AI. AI, we bring the artificial.
They have minds of their own now,
and
so.
take over now. It's a mind of its own now.
Mm-hmm.
And Calix, we have so many youths between 12 and 18. Just there, Calix, and you could see them sometimes, man. By sheer numbers alone, people, sometimes we tend to emphasize guns. Okay, it's good. Guns. We take out all the guns of the streets. We still have a serious problem, Calix.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The nothingness
Mm-hmm.
and the hopelessness of so many youths within that age range. It's frightening, Calix. It's frightening. I don't know if you go places where you would see them congregate. And then it just every 2 seconds, it's something, there's an uproar, even among themselves.
Mm.
Friends,
Yeah.
schoolmates, they grow up together, they always together, and, it's like a snake biting at its own tail, and these people, these youths, even with stones, by sheer numbers,
Mm-hmm.
they decide to do what they want to do. If they want to take out somebody, they will do it. They can do it because they are the sheer numbers.
It also, there's something that we're seeing as well, and I think it's inimical to the absence of formative social networks, community links and networks to support these individuals. And there's this conversation about this Trinidad 6 and 7, right, which is a Trinidadian phenomenon. And I think we saw it a little bit too, if the, is it Gaza? There was another one out of Jamaica, and then people, went Gully and Gaza, and they just wanted to identify, or even before that, there was coming out of the rap from the United States of America, this East Side and West Side, whether you're coming from New York or whether you're coming from Los Angeles, and these things are completely removed from our own reality, but there's this desire to identify and this desire to be part of something is where you see a lot of these young people gravitating towards, and it speaks of a vacuum that they don't have enough community.
Yeah, but still dealing with that. Yeah, you have to deal with that. But there is trimming branches. That is trimming the branches, overhead hanging back branches and so on. That's not dealing with the root, Calix.
So you don't think that part of the problem is that they don't have a sense of belonging, that they feel like they're looking for somewhere to fit themselves in?
And tell me if you know that song. Mosquito 1, Mosquito 2, what's after that?
No, I don't know that song.
Mosquito jump in the old man's shoe. 10 pounds 10. Dominica hen. Monkey jump up and jump up again. And I won't sing the whole song for you. But what I'm saying is that, and we can't go back to the future, but I just want to make an illustration here, that when, in these times when children were growing up, men like women, male like female, we played with each other. We played games like tiki-talk, and they were not, there were not gender issues in terms of little boys and little girls playing together. We play marbles together. We play morella together. We play windball cricket.
Jacks, okay.
And yeah. But fast forward. Let me tell you. From age, these children don't play no games together so much. Anyway.
They play games, Caller. Is that they're playing it on a different platform completely. They're playing Fortnite and Roblox and Minecraft and things you probably never heard about. I'm telling you.
They go too direct. These children from 4 years go to cell phone, to phone.
But that's the thing. That the community that they are part of is not the boy down the road.
You're trying to tell them about games. And then you exposing them to that kind of thing. So they have no time to sit down and to think like children. Like you watch young lions, young animals, young pups, and all they do is play. Until they reach a certain age. For a good part, they play.
Mm-hmm.
They play. My brother, we undermining the ability, the importance of this thing called play. And if even a day like today, when you grow up, play is still a big way of escaping all these kind of things. Because what you always say, you play, you always say, we fighting, we go and fight a cricket match. What you always we play, no?
Mm-hmm.
Or we gonna let's go and fight a football match there. What you do? We're gonna play it, no? So the importance of play, we playing down the importance of play. So when these children, involved in these things from so early, I don't know. But like I say, I don't have no solutions, but I just suggesting it might be important. It might play a role if we ain't gone overboard yet. If we ain't really thinking.
Well, that's a very important point, caller, what you're asking.
What's that?
And it's a very important, the issue of hope, right? You see, hopelessness, that is a very, very, very dangerous, that's a state of destruction. People,
many of them are hopeless.
right, and so you have to give hope. You have to be able to give hope. You have to be able to provide
but especially
some sort of a way out. That is critical.
Especially you are a young man, you just start in your family. You go preach, you go sing, boy. I was speaking to a young man recently and he telling me, boy, no feelings here. I tell him, yeah, but you could say that to me. I may understand your frustration. But you have children, yes, you are free. So what you say to them? Well, do your best to get out of here.
That's what you tell his children? Oh, boy.
So, and you just start in your family, Kali. You must have hope. There must be some glimmer of hope, something you could build hope around, Maybe, we need to find it.
Yeah, that's very important. Very, very, very important.
Very important. Because, perhaps one more time, we could plead with our leaders to let go of the acrimony towards each other and project an image that appears as some grim determination to do something about the ills in this society, my brother.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Quite so. Thanks very much for that intervention, caller. Very, very much appreciated. And I think it's important that the lessons that we'll have to learn, you're very correct about where other countries have been, what they have tried to do, and whether, in fact, those things have worked. Or maybe sometimes they work for a very short time. There's this sort of immediate drop in a response, but it doesn't last. It actually seems to sometimes come back even worse than before. It's a very interesting situation over in Ecuador, and perhaps we can look at their story at some point during the week, because they've been battling the issue of violent crime, and in particular, they've got some very much deep-seated gangs and cartels. The issue of drugs is very real, and money laundering and human trafficking as well. Many, many issues with organized crime groups over in Ecuador. And there have been efforts of late to be able to see what could be done. And it appears that there's been a very hardline approach towards dealing with it by the current president, Daniel Noboa, as to whether, in fact, it's succeeding, as to whether, in fact, it seems to have been, in terms of the numbers, there's been a significant drop in the number of homicides. but they're still having their own issues, and it's on a regular basis. It's really a fight against crime, and when you look at the conflict, even just last month, there was a flare-up with, and it involved the military going against these guys, these gangs head to head. You know, they had to declare a state of emergency. So it's really almost like real warfare in the case of Ecuador. And it's some people have also said that they've gone beyond. You're seeing issues with even church members and arresting of clerics and that kind of thing. So a lot of that's going on in that Central American country, and perhaps it might be interesting to see some of the approaches, and again, what potentially to try and what potentially not to try, with the understanding that, of course, it's never going to be a perfect fit, but we certainly have to figure out what works best for us and what can work. We have to solve our own problems at the end of the day, because it's quite unlikely that anybody is going to actually come and solve it for us. That's our dish of the day. When we, of course, we'll be back again tomorrow for another program here of, the Lunchroom. That's our program completely. We're done for the day, not our dish of the day. This is our end of the Lunchroom here at Radio Caribbean International. Until tomorrow, Tuesday, where you can join us for another program. And we do hope that you can do so safely. I'm your host, Calix George Jr., saying goodbye.